Take one.
All right. So Jordan, just tell us a little bit about your upbringing and how do you discover like your love for music and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona originally. I come from a super big family, and my brothers, I have two brothers and my dad, were always really great guitar players and sang a little bit as well. And I was always around guitars since I was like 6 is kind of when I first started picking them up and playing. And my dad sort of taught me the early beginnings of it. And I just kind of have been obsessed ever since. So I was really always a guitar player first, and then got into high school and started writing songs and started to enjoy singing more. I wasn't as terrified of singing like I was when I was younger. So yeah, I've been doing it for a long time, but it's always been guitar first for me. Yeah.
Yeah, how was that kind of coming out of your shell a little bit, being like super shy, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're like touring?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know what it is about. And I've talked about this in other interviews. I don't know what it is about being a kid and like singing is the like a most embarrassing thing you could do for whatever reason when you're a kid. Maybe it's different now in the age of social media, but when I was a kid, it was the lamest thing you could do. But as a guitar player, it was fine. It was rad, and I wasn't shy in that regard. But I don't know if it was this like sensitive fear or what. But I eventually just kind of fell in love with songwriting and started to kind of want to deconstruct songs that I really loved that influenced me growing up. And it was like singing was kind of a means to the end of learning how to songwrite, and I kind of feel like I needed to do both to get into songwriting the way that I felt inspired to do. And so I felt like I became a singer so that I could play the songs that I was writing more so than like a desire to be a singer, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I feel like the songwriting is what brought me out of that shell.
Yeah, totally. Who are some of the musical influences that have helped inspire you to craft your unique sound?
I grew up worshiping Tom Petty, and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers were like my first big band and like collection of just songwriting gold, in my opinion. That was the first concert my dad ever took me to when I was a kid. So Tom Petty as a songwriter was always like huge for me, and especially as a storyteller. And then I got older, and as I was a teenager and whatnot, I got really into guys like City and Color and these singer-songwriters with an acoustic guitar, and Gregory Alan Isakov and guys like that really, really inspired me a ton, and as well as like early Bon Iver stuff. And it was really anyone that could craft a story with just a guitar really captivated me, like from a pretty young age. And so I was always really inspired by that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually gonna say I feel like that kind of Gregory Alan Isakov and
Yeah.
Bon Iver early stuff is
Yeah.
totally what I felt out of your set.
Rad.
Tell us a little bit about your songwriting process and how you find ways to turn a simple concept, kind of like sitting in your driveway, into a fully fleshed out piece of music.
Yeah, kind of like what I said before. It's guitar will always come first for me, and I'm guilty of like always having a guitar on my lap. Whenever I'm home and not doing anything, I feel like I'm always like within arm's length of a guitar somewhere in my house. So I'm sort of always just noodling, whether I'm watching TV or whatnot, and if a chord progression kind of stands out to me and I feel like it inspires a melody that I want to hum or sing, then I will just pull out my phone and start taking voice memos and whatnot and go from there. And lyrics and the story will always come last for me. But in terms of a song like Driveway, that was a song that took like a year to fully finish and write for whatever reason. But I had like an initial idea just from lines that I was sort of ad-libbing into my phone from voice memos. And that's not uncommon for me to kind of let that like gibberish of what I'm mumbling out just to get the melody out. Sometimes that can kind of spark an idea story-wise, which feels silly to say out loud, but like it's kind of just what comes out naturally, and I feel like that's kind of how I decide what the song is going to be about, and then kind of steer my writing towards that when I try to finalize lyrics. But it'll always be guitar first for me. Like I've never been able to write lyrics first or even really melody. Like everything is always built on a guitar progression for me. So that's kind of the standard.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, last little question.
Cool.
What are some of the things that you're up to this year? Like, give
Yeah.
us a little life update.
Yeah, my newest song, Hangin' Around, is out. Just came out, and I am on tour right now with the National Parks, who are really close friends of mine and a band with roots here in Utah that have really kind of taken me under their wing and brought me out on the road a lot. And so I've been really grateful for them. So just playing in a lot of new cities for a lot of new listeners and fans, which I've been super grateful for. So yeah, and then just working on music at home, and I've been self-producing a ton of stuff and trying to get more stuff out. So I've got a handful of singles that I'm kind of been teasing a release for and trying to schedule all that out. But so new music, new shows, and new cities. So it's been good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's everything, man.
Rad. Thanks, boys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Thank you.